Hey y'all, thanks for tuning in. I installed these chunky box braids about a week ago, and I figured it'd be the perfect time to just drop in and talk about how to maintain your box braids, keep them looking fresh and popping for the entire amount of time that you decide to leave them in, how to relieve itchy scalp, prevent itchy scalp most importantly, and how to care for your hair in general while you're in a protective style. So first and foremost, I usually keep mine in for as close to 4 weeks as possible. I like to play with my hair too much and I get bored easily, so I take them out. But I do hair for my clients, and I always recommend between at least two. But on average, most people can leave them in between 4 to 6 weeks. So it varies from client to client, person to person. But as a general rule of thumb, I would say stick anywhere between 4 to 6 weeks. So now let's dive into these tips. So first, when it comes to maintaining your box braids, you're gonna wanna stick to a water-based foam, whether it's a mousse or like a foam styler, to just lay all over your hair, and you can tie your hair back in the low ponytail and just wrap the whole thing with a scarf. So I usually use this really big square, fold it into a triangle, and once I have the mousse all over my hair, just rub it in and throw your scarf on. Tie it up. You could tie it up like while you're doing your makeup, or just while you're, doing whatever you do in the morning, and just let everything set and refresh, and then take it off when you're done. Sit under a hooded dryer if you have one. But that just really helps to tame any amount of frizz, give the braids a little bit more shine, and really just like refresh your hairstyle. And you can do that 2-3 times a week, daily if you feel like you need to, but most of the times your hair won't be getting frizzy daily. So like 2 to 3 times a week is usually pretty good for maintaining the style, the sleekness, the shine, the body. My favorite one right now that I use on myself and on all my clients is the Lotta Body Wrap Me Foaming Mousse. This works really, really well. And I just apply it all over the braids and then tie my scarf on it. And by the time I take my scarf off, everything is looking real good and refreshed, just like day one. Tip number 2 is to tie them down. Tie them down, tie them down. Anytime you're not going somewhere, tie them down. At nighttime, I usually use just like a giant bonnet like this one and tuck all of the braids in there. Because this one has elastic on it, I usually fold it back so that the elastic is not on my edges. Your edges are really fragile, so you don't want things rubbing on them all the time. So you can either fold the elastic part back or tie down your edges with a thin scarf, something like that, and just like tie this around your edges so that the elastic is not rubbing on them directly, because the last thing we want is friction alopecia. Ain't nobody got time for that. Also, whenever the braids are rubbing up against like your clothes or anything like that, if you're laying on the couch, rubbing against the pillow, all of that is gonna contribute to frizz, and hopefully not, but potentially to unraveling and things like that. So switch it up every now and then, put your hair up in a ponytail, keep it off of your clothes. If you're just chilling, laying on the couch, put a scarf on it. All of these things are gonna help you to maintain your style for a little bit longer. So preventing itchy scalp, I always recommend spritzing. I usually just use a spray bottle. I usually have mostly aloe vera juice, a little bit of water, so like 75% aloe vera, 25% water, and then I do a couple of drops of mint, rosemary, and lavender oils just as like a refreshing spritz to keep my scalp feeling really good. Mint and lavender are really good at increasing circulation, which stimulates your hair growth, and it's also very calming and refreshing. Any hair products that have mint in them, they're always really tingly and just cooling, which is really good for your scalp. Lavender helps to soothe your scalp. If you feel like you need a little bit of extra to seal that moisture in, you can use a penetrating oil. Be careful not to use any oils with fragrances. You want to stay away from really heavy oils, and you really want to kind of stick to the lighter oils that are going to penetrate your skin and not coat your hair and leave like a thick layer of buildup on there. All that's gonna do is make your scalp really itchy. I like to use avocado oils. You can use vitamin E oils as long as you mix it with a carrier oil. Avocado oil is an oil that really penetrates and it's not gonna sit all over your hair. So if avocado oil works for you, you're not allergic to it or anything, then that's a really good choice. You really want to make sure you care for your hair while it's in the protective style, because if you're not caring for your hair, then you're not really protecting your hair. So don't overdo it with any heavy products or anything like that. But if you have like a nice refresher spray that you like to spritz on there, the aloe vera mixture that I was just talking about is what I use to refresh my hair. People sell braid refreshing sprays if you wanted to do something like that, but I like to keep it as natural as possible, especially because you're not going in and washing everything out all the time. So you really want to keep everything as light as possible, as natural as possible, and really just spritz your hair so it gets a little bit of moisture while it's in here and feels a little bit of love, you know? When it comes to your edges, don't lay them every day if you don't have anywhere to go every day. Even if you do have somewhere to go, like, take it easy. Just take it easy on the heavy gels, heavy pomades, and things like that, because usually you're washing more often. When you're in a protective style, you don't want to have so much product just building up and building up on your edges without cleaning it off. All of that just leads to breakage, leads to clogged pores, which leads to thinning. This is like the most fragile part of your hair, so even just running a brush over it every day, like working your edges too much, is never a good thing. So take it easy, use really light gels, custards whenever you can. You know, take a break every now and then and just let them breathe, clean them off when you wash your face. Things like that all help to make sure that everything stays good with your edges, the most sensitive and fragile part of your hair. Personally, I like to apply a little bit of oil on my edges once or twice a week before bed, just to give them a little bit of nourishment, a little moisture, and tie them down. There's also the option to wash and condition, which you can do. If you do decide to wash and condition, you can always, like I said, apply the mousse afterwards, and you can also re-dip your ends in hot water if your ends are dipped. If you're having like an itchy scalp or anything like that, if you've been working out a lot and you need to clean it, just focus the shampoo on your scalp, because that's what we really need to clean, and just let the rest of it run down the length of your braids. When you condition, make sure to really condition the length of your braids and try not to get conditioner too much all over your scalp, because the last thing that we want to do is throw some products on there that's just gonna have a film, and that's gonna increase buildup. So really, shampoos for your scalp, conditioners for your hair. Lastly, just be gentle when you're styling, when you're pulling your hair back. Don't let it be too tight. You know, let it relax, let it breathe. The whole point of having a protective style is to give your hair and your strands, your follicles, a break from the tugging and pulling and combing and brushing that we do all the time with our hair. So be gentle when you're styling and you will be all good. I know you've been feeling this track, so check out all the artist information below. You guys can contact him, where you can find his music and connect with him and all that. So be sure y'all show him some love as well. And I will see y'all next time.
Imagine this world without love. Cold. COVID could be a blessing and a curse. If everybody could spend weeks apart, why not spend it together with the ones we love? Warm hugs. I bet this world still doesn't have a spark of love. Why treat everybody like doormats or rugs? And every time we fully charge, we unplug.